welcome to How to Grow a Garden. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk about strawberries. Strawberries are awesome, and they're actually really expensive if you buy them from the local farmer, which I love doing, but there's something really cool about having your own strawberries. They're cheaper, they produce all year if you have all year strawberries, and they're so sweet and awesome when they're picked right off the plant. I kind of think of it as my reward when I'm gardening because they don't produce too many at the beginning, so as I'm outside I can just pick them and go, and it's like this little treat. It's fantastic. So what I do with my strawberries is you can put them in the ground, and we do that, but I also like to get them off the ground because then the strawberries have the chance to fall around the edge of the basket or the container they're in, and they don't rot if they hit the ground. They're not going to get wet the same way. So here I've taken a large basket and I filled it with strawberries, and well, they're just growing really well. I have to water it every day, and I put a lot of fertilizer into it. So obviously a lot of rabbit droppings are in the actual compost that's in the bottom, or the actual dirt, and I'm going to and then I'm going to thin them. I think actually right now they're a little too thick. They've got a lot of plants in here, and I've actually taken out some. So what I'm going to do, because they just keep growing, is I'm going to take out the ones that aren't doing so well, that don't have too many flowers on them. I'm going to take them out and put them in a separate pot, maybe hang them in a tree or something, and do a hanging pot. The other thing I like to do with strawberries, which is a really, really big tip, is the very first time, the very first flower that your plant has in the beginning of summer, you want to pop that off. So let's say if we have a plant, like maybe, well no, this one's got a whole bunch. Okay, I think they all have a whole bunch. But if there was a plant in here that only had one, okay, like this one's not doing so well, I would come along and I would pop off the flower, like so, toss it away. So I pop off all the flowers on the entire little plant, and then what that does is that tells the plant, pop them all off here, off they go. We even have a few strawberries, can pop them off too. Pop off the strawberries. What that's going to do is it's going to tell that plant to go, ha! And it will go into super production. Now you have to fertilize really well, make sure it's well fed with organic fertilizer only. Don't use any of that, crap.
Do it again. Use organic fertilizer only.
Okay. Use organic fertilizer only. Don't use any of that other stuff that's just bad for the environment, yourself, and everybody around you. So I'm gonna pop off the strawberries, fertilize well, and this poor little plant is just going to explode. He's gonna go crazy. He's gonna think, uh-oh, I need to produce my seeds. How do I do that? And he's gonna produce more and more strawberries. That is what you want. You also want to make sure that as the strawberries come out, you eat them, or at least you pick them. But they're so good. And as you can see how many there are, I mean, this is amazing. This is because I plucked them. And again, everybody came over and said, oh my goodness, why are you getting rid of your strawberries? There won't be any strawberries. No. It's very important. It's also good for the plant because when you pluck them, the plant puts a little more energy into the roots, and it actually gets more stuck into the ground. It's better for the plant, and then it produces more fruit. So, awesome way to do it. Big tip. Keep them in a basket so they're up off the ground. And I will also show you where I put them in the ground, but it's a little different. So, these are some of our strawberries which we planted in the ground. Now, all the beds in the garden, I actually put a border of strawberries around the beds, but I still like to hang them in a lot of baskets because I find the baskets do even better. And here's a perfect example of why. This little strawberry, you can see that, this little strawberry has been eaten by a slug. And if the turtles, if the chickens are out, they would eat the slugs. But the chickens, I don't want them in the garden because they'll eat everything else too. So unfortunately I have this balance between living with the slugs or living with the chickens eating all the food. So the chickens get to eat the grass, and that's good, but not the slugs. So when I have them down here, they're more susceptible to all kinds of bugs that will, nibble. When I have them in the basket, it's going to be a lot better because they're going to hang over the edge. They're not going to rot when they get wet, and the slugs aren't going to eat them. All the same, because of space and such, I do have them running all the way along. And this little fence, this little wiry thing here, this is to keep the rabbits out because they will, of course, come in and nibble on my strawberries too. So, just a quick thing, you can put them in the ground, it does work. And you can put them pretty tight. This is okay, this is pretty tight. So we've got one here, one here, one here. So they're about a foot apart. And I also did the same thing here. You can see how many strawberries they're coming out, little green ones here. I also deadheaded or plucked out the first little flowers as they came so that the plants would produce more. That one hasn't gotten into it yet, but this one's doing really well. And so is that one. Don't ever let your strawberries die on the plant. The moment the strawberry goes to seed or dries up or dies on the actual plant, the plant is done. It then thinks, yes, mission accomplished. Baby seeds are out there, and it's going to stop producing strawberries. So you got to deadhead, or in this case, keep picking that fruit and enjoying the fruit, make all kinds of good stuff with it, but don't let it go to seed and die on your plant, because that'll be bad. Okay, so this was how to grow strawberries. I'm Scarlett, and thanks for watching. See you next time.